Hello, it's Jim, and welcome to the first episode of Jim in the Rough. I am so excited. This is crazy. Welcome to my bedroom. Welcome to my bedroom. I am currently mourning. I am currently in mourning. I have just had to retire my anti-eyebrow piercing. And I don't feel like me. I feel like a little part of me has disappeared. I feel like I've lost a limb. Oh, I loved that piercing. But don't worry, I am going to get it redone. But look, it's okay. I'll be okay. I'm retiring the piercing because it was rejecting me. It rejected me. I've got a lot to yap about today. I found a Reddit thread about a guy who literally rejected his girlfriend right before dinner, and I've got it pulled up right here. So I would like to talk about it because it's insane. It's crazy. I want to find someone to be angry at, you know? Anyway, am I the asshole for leaving my girlfriend at her house? I've been dating my girlfriend for about 2 years now. She's not the most punctual person, and I had a discussion with her a month ago after I waited in my car for an hour to pick her up, explaining that I thought it was rude and disrespectful to be late when I come and pick her up for dates. Fast forward to today, we didn't have anything planned for the day and decided to go to a bar and maybe dinner. We spoke and agreed that I would pick her up at 4 o'clock. I got to her house a couple minutes early, so I waited around for a bit, then gave her a call at 4 with no answer. I called again at 4:05 with no answer, then decided, fuck it, I'll just go home. Right. At this point, I was already thinking that I would probably be waiting for at least half an hour. At around 4:15, she texts me that she is getting ready, and then she calls me at 4:30 telling me she doesn't see my car out front. Thought there was a sternness in my voice. I didn't raise it when I told her I was halfway to my house. She tells me that this isn't okay and hangs up. I feel bad that I hurt her feelings, but to be honest, I'm pretty tired of having to wait around. Now I'm lying here wondering, am I the asshole? Mate, that is crazy. Can I just say, I'm gonna be yapping about this through a borderline personality disorder lens, because babes, that's me. I have that, and well, my whole perspective on life is very shaped by my experiences with borderline personality disorder. And I feel like if I was in this situation personally, which I better not be, but if I ever was, the triggering of the fear of abandonment that would cause, not okay. I would go insane and it would cause problems. I would cause problems, that's for sure. So it feels like he waited around for a bit and then left when she wasn't ready to like teach her a lesson or something, which I mean, I was gonna say that's ironic coming from a borderline because the testing, like the teaching her a lesson, the testing. But we also acknowledge that it's not okay. Testing and teaching people a lesson like that is your one way to get to a breakup. I'm just like, the nerve. Do you love this person? It just feels petty. What he essentially did was punish her by withdrawing his presence, and that is so cruel. If you love someone, you don't do that, you know? I just want to like tell this man to fuck off. I feel so bad for her. I mean, sure, there's something to be said about communication around punctuality. Like, if she knows the time and then she's not ready by that time, it is her responsibility to communicate that, you know, hey, I need a few more minutes. Hey, I need 20 more minutes. Give me half an hour. And if she doesn't do that, then he has a reason to be frustrated. But at the same time, just leaving, based on the wording, this is clearly an ongoing issue. She's not very punctual. It's frustrating for him. If this is a long-term thing that he is just not okay with, you know, have they had conversations? That's what I would be asking. Have they talked about how to navigate, you know, when something like this happens? Have they talked about it? And if they haven't, then I'd be saying get on that. If they have and nothing's changed and etc., then, you know, this is the start of the end. This is the start of the end, babes. So communicate. And also just don't be a dick. Don't just leave. Don't be a dick. Communicate and don't be a dick. That's my advice for today. Well, I've got another one for you. I have another one for you. Yes, I do. I'm treating you. Well, leaving someone at home, quite toxic, but honestly, I would prefer that over being ignored when I am crying about my dead cat. Speaking of cats, where is my cat? I wish I had my cat with me right now. That would be so nice. The next story is gonna make you sick. It made me sick, so it'll make you sick, because that's how that works. Okay, so my 19 female boyfriend, 20 male, fell asleep while I was crying about my dead cat. Just like he falls asleep or ignores me any other time I'm sad. He does so much for me, but I always feel like I'm being pushed to my limit. He's bad at talking about emotions, but he does try. How hard. But I'm beginning to feel like he doesn't care. I usually have to force him to express emotions and be comforting, and if I don't, he won't do it. He says talking about sensitive topics is hard to him, but it's frustrating. We've been together for 2 years and he still hasn't learned. I try for him. I try to work on myself for him, but it's like he never tries to be comforting now. He claims he tries, but he really doesn't. I believe communication and being there for your partner is a huge thing, and if he can't do that, it makes me wonder if he can be in a relationship. That's a very valid point. You know, a big part of being in a relationship is communication. It is, like, it's one of the main things. You cannot have, listen to me, you cannot have a healthy, successful relationship without lots, and when I say lots, I mean a shit ton of really good, healthy communication. Sorry, babes. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. Who do I think I am? I'm speaking like I am some all-knowing bitch. I am not, but a lot goes on up here, and I'm making you listen to me. I'm forcing you to be here. Okay. Makes me wonder if he can be in a relationship. The family cat died today. He grew up with me since I was a small child. That is so sad. Like, I don't know how I would handle that. Small child. Probably around 3. I'm 19 now. 16 years. It's a long time. That's a long time for a cat, so that's good. That's something. I was there during the euthanasia. So it was really hard. So I've seen everything. So all day I've been an emotional wreck. And that is so okay. That is so reasonable. I don't know, I heard it together most of the time my boyfriend has been home. But just now I started crying in bed. He didn't even say anything and just turned off the lights and fell asleep, and it made me cry harder. I was going to cuddle him, but he's crashed now and turned the other way. I'm just so sad. My boyfriend does lots for me, but I notice whenever I'm sad and crying, he doesn't ever help. He doesn't hold me, he doesn't hug or kiss me. That's all I want. That's all she wants. That's all she wants, and he just is right there unconscious. I told him that before. We've had discussions about this. He knows it upsets me when he doesn't console me. It makes me feel like he doesn't care. The last few weeks I've been thinking about breaking up with him. Probably a good idea, because I almost feel like this is a deal breaker. It is. It is a deal breaker. But I'm scared. That's understandable as well. He does so much for me, and maybe I'm just too needy. But my cat died. Bitch, your cat died. Oh my god. Oh my god. I want to point out, he does so much for me. That line, he does so much for me, has been mentioned a few times throughout this. And I feel like that's a little telling, but we'll come back to that. He talked to me about it when I wasn't crying, and then the minute I start actually crying, and I'm incredibly upset, he just appeared to not give a shit. And this happened more than once in other situations. He just turned away. What do? I literally think about breaking up with him every day now because I'm getting tired of him never showing affection when I need it most. Whenever he's sad, he always comes for me for love, and he gets it. If he cries, I'm always there with him. It's not like I cry 24/7, but only over serious stuff. I just love him so much, and he does do other amazing loving things for me, but the feelings I get when he turns away from me when I'm heartbroken is worse than anything. Am I overreacting, or is this something I should be serious about? Well, I think that there is nuance to this. You know the saying that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference? And I feel like what fits the definition to a T quite as much as falling asleep and as being unconscious. Like how much more indifferent could you get? I am crying. I am bawling my eyes out because my cat just died, and you just roll over and fall asleep. I'm gonna be like, huh? If I was in that situation, I can't lie, I would have got up and screamed immediately. I would have been like, ooh. I would have ripped into that guy. Personally, just personally. So, okay, I do think this is nuanced though. There is a place to have a conversation around the fact that maybe he doesn't feel comfortable sort of in that space showing lots of emotion, but this has been a thing for a while, and she said that he hasn't worked on it. So, you know, if it was like a new thing, we could give him some grace, and we could be like, okay, maybe he's just not comfortable and he needs to work on that, and that's on him. But he's not been working on it, and I think that's telling. I also think there was a lot of times where she was saying that he does so much for her. That could either be, because she doesn't specify what. I think at the end there was something, but like, he does so much for me feels like sort of physical, tangible things as opposed to emotional, which I think is interesting. Like, is she trying to find reasons to not leave? Is she trying to make him better in her head because that's less painful? You know, there's some of that. And I think that the only way to move forward from something like this is communication. Unfortunately, just like before, it always comes to communication. I hate to break it to you. This is something that, if I put myself in this situation, me living with BPD, and this happened, it's not just oh, they're asleep while I'm sad. It's, oh, they don't care about my pain. They don't care that I'm in pain right now. That's what it feels like. And it's like, that is so terrifying. That is so distressing. Oh my god. I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, But yes, the only way to move forward from this is to communicate. Is for her to sit down and say, hey, I've noticed this is something that's been happening with us recently, and this is how it's making me feel, and this is what I need from you. And then for him to say, you know, same thing back, and then to have a discussion around, you know, what they said they need from each other. Is that something that can be provided? And if it's not, then they're just going to be miserable. Maybe they want to stay in their relationship because that feels less painful. If your emotional needs cannot be met, or you cannot meet your partner's emotional needs, babe, get out there and live your life. Get out there and be happy. Heal. Get out there and heal, and then go out and live your life and be happy. But it's the fear. It's the fear, right? It triggers the fear of BPD. The brutal anxiety that we feel. We put up with things like the sleeping and the ignoring because we're more terrified of the next story. So the next story is titled, Am I the Asshole for Feeling Exhausted with My Girlfriend? That is such a massive fear. Oh my god. Okay, let's get into it. My 31 male girlfriend, 34 female, is sweet, loving, compassionate, and giving. But I feel exhausted with her. We've been going out for about 6 months now. She calls me at least 3 times a day when we don't see one another. She voices how sad she is whenever I hang out with my friends instead of her. That's so relatable. Oh my god. Does this girl have BPD? I'm kidding, I'm not diagnosing anyone, but I'm just saying that's so relatable. That is so relatable. She's been through a lot in her life and needs constant validation and reassurance. This is difficult for me because she has trust issues. So my words and sometimes my actions don't carry any weight. She has no self-worth. This is so resonant with BPD. Did the poster of this stalk me? Did they read my diary? I don't have a diary, but did they are they stalking me? Feels like it. She's never happy with anything. She was unemployed for months. She was sad almost every day because of it. She just started a job this week. She's already complaining about how frustrating it is and how she doesn't feel like she's good enough. I obviously tried to refute this, but it never sticks. I feel so drained that I feel too tired to make conversation with her when we aren't talking about her feelings. I broached the subject with her. I tried to tell her in so many words that I feel like she's codependent. She heard me out, but tried to provide evidence and examples as to why she isn't. I told her that I feel like she was telling me what to feel. She said that I sounded just like one of her exes. I said that I'm worried that I'm solely responsible for her happiness and self-worth, and that this isn't a sustainable dynamic. She got quiet and then she started crying softly. She said that she would call me back, and I hung up. Oh, she said that she would call me back and hung up. She hung up. I know that she's just crying in her room right now. I feel like an absolute shithead. Am I an asshole? Unempathetic jerk? ? So every part of me wants to just give that girl a hug. Give her a hug and tell her that it's gonna be okay. Not diagnosing, but I am gonna talk about this through the lens of someone with BPD. Also because there's a lot that lines up, and I'm not saying she has it. There are so many things, but I have BPD things to yuck about. So that's what we're gonna do. I just wanna God. Calls me 3 times a day when we don't see one another. The black and white thinking. It's the you're not with me right now, so you don't exist and you hate me and I'm never gonna see you again and you're not in my life anymore. And that's what subconsciously goes through our minds. That's what gets forced onto us. She voices how sad she is whenever I hang out with my friends instead of her. Can we talk about that? Oh my god. For example, me and my boyfriend are getting better at this, but last night he had a birthday dinner to go to, one of his friend's 18th birthdays. Oh my god. I would have been an absolute wreck if we haven't sort of had figured out how to handle this. Because having BPD and being in a relationship, the reality is it's difficult. It is really difficult. It's difficult on the person with BPD, but it's also really difficult on the person who doesn't have BPD, who's with the person with BPD. There's so much more to it than normal relationship things. When you're with someone with BPD, I am sorry to people who, as someone with BPD, I apologize to people who have been with someone with BPD. So he went out to dinner, and how this would have played out a few months ago, before I even knew I had BPD. And also, can I just say that a diagnosis helped me so much. It helped me feel not insane. Previously, I just felt completely insane. I was like, why am I feeling all these things? This doesn't make any sense. I'm a terrible person. And now I'm like, oh, I know there's a reason for this, and I kind of know what's going on up there. Even if it's not easy, in the moment, to use that. Over time, it does get easier when you're in that moment to be able to recognize, hey, this is what's happening. I know why this is, But anyway, a few months ago, I would have been an absolute wreck. He would have been out, and I would have literally felt frozen. I would have felt like I couldn't move. I would have been crying. And I feel so sorry for her. I feel really, really sorry for her. I don't even, I'm not even frustrated. I'm not even ugh, I wasted my time. No, I feel really sad for her. But anyway, what we did, and this is still semi-feeding into the BPD needs and whatever, but it was helpful, and it's a step. it's a step. But yeah, so he was going out for dinner in the evening. So I came round in the afternoon, hung out, and I also helped him get ready. There was a dress code. It was business casual, and he's a little relaxed with his clothing. It's that mysterious, nonchalant, kind of vibe. And so I helped him get ready, and part of that was difficult because I was like, oh, I'm helping you get ready, and then I'm not going to be a part of what you're doing. But then part of it was oh, I am a part of it now. I give you advice on your outfit, and you're wearing my jacket, and I braided your hair. I braided his hair. Guys, I braided his hair. That was really fun. It's wait, I am kind of part of this now. And that helped. It did help, because then I was also oh, he's got these things of mine with him. When he's out, that's a conversation starter. that's an opportunity for him to be like, oh yeah, this is my girlfriend. Oh yeah, my girlfriend did this. Oh yes, my girlfriend. Isn't she amazing? So I recognize that feeds into the BPD sort of thoughts and needs, but steps. It's a step. And you know what? He went out, he had a great time. I went home and I wasn't going insane, and I had a pretty good night myself as well, which I feel very happy with. Oh, I just want to say, I was just reading the next part. She's been through a lot in her life and needs constant validation and reassurance. Like, there was a couple times throughout the afternoon when we were hanging out that, you know, some things came up and then a bunch, you know, feelings came up, but that's normal and that's gonna happen, and you're not insane. Like, you aren't insane for having those thoughts and feelings. You know, it's not you. You aren't too much. It's not that you're a bad person. It's that you've had a lot happen in your life. You know, you had a lot happen to you that should never happen to anyone. And you likely had it happen to you at a very young age when you didn't have any other means for anything, and that's really scary. So it's the kind of thing of like, it is also really hard on the person you're with, but knowing that also makes it harder. It compounds the thoughts around I'm too much, you know, and that makes it worse. So kind of knowing this is difficult for them, and not but, and there's a little magical word there, because but feels like you're disregarding the first thing you said. It's really difficult for the person that you're with, and it's not you, it's the things you've been through, and this person is choosing to be here, right? And as long as they know, as long as there's been lots and lots of communication, this person is choosing to be with you. So I think, because it's like he thinks that she's high maintenance. I think high maintenance is just another word for, in this situation, high standards of emotional safety. High standards of emotional safety. That if he thinks reassurance is too much work, he shouldn't be in a relationship. If he thinks that that's too much work, he shouldn't be in a relationship. But there is work that she has to do on her side of things as well. The reality with BPD is that it's not your fault that you have this. You know, you've suffered so much, and that's really unfair. And what's also really unfair is that this is now your responsibility. This is now on you to deal with, to heal from. And when you think about that, it's like, oh, you know, I'm struggling with these things because of like things that are out of my control, and now this is mine to deal with, and now I have years of work to do, and now my life is miserable because of this thing that happened that was completely out of my control, but now I have to suffer. And like, it's really unfair, and I just want to acknowledge that. Like, it's so unfair. Unfortunately, that's the reality, and there is a responsibility that you have to take to do that work. So I'll leave you with that. I've been talking about BPD a lot, but I'll leave you with BPD is so unfair. Borderline personality disorder, which by the way is really just complex PTSD. That's what my therapist told me, because I went to her about BPD and she was like, okay, what things are you noticing? And I kind of listed some things, and she was like, yeah, so we've already essentially diagnosed you with this, but we've just diagnosed it under a different term, because BPD, like borderline personality disorder, it sounds like we're saying it's the person's fault, but it's not. It's not, because it says it's a personality disorder, but it's not your fault. It's complex PTSD. It is the things that have happened to you. And when she said that, it really put it in perspective for me. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, you're not insane, you're not toxic, you're not too much. You've had a lot of shit happen, and you know, you've been dealt a really bad hand and your life is really unfair now. Unfortunately, you now have a responsibility to work through that and to heal. And well, if no one else is going to be compassionate and have grace for you, I will. I'm going to tell you that you're lovable, and that you are so worth it, and that you deserve so much good, all the good things that could happen. You know, it's time. It's time for some good things to finally happen. So I just want to leave you with that. You're not a bad person. Maybe you're struggling for good reason. You know, you've had a lot of shit happen, but you're not a bad person, and that you can have a really beautiful, fulfilling life, and that I want to tell you that you're lovable, okay? I am going to shut up now because I have been yapping for a little too long. So, I will talk to you next week. Oh, that feels so good to say. I will talk to you next week. I love you. Bye.